making sure I got picture. So today I have to open up for you another Masters of the Universe Origins figure. And this is from the Powers of Grayskull subline. And it's Sharella, heroic tribal chief. It's almost an evil for some reason. So here's a nice piece of her on the back. About to shoot the Black Wizard or whatever he's called with a bow and arrow. I don't know how effective that's going to be in this snake priest guy down here. I forget what that guy's name is, but these are Preternia characters. This guy is supposed to be kind of like a precursor to Skeletor, and it's Snake Man. And lovely piece of art here with Sharella. She looks kind of like Raquel Welch a little bit in this artwork, although I think the figure is a little pale to be Raquel Welch. But let's see if I can figure out how to open this thing up, because it looks like it just slides out. So much like with Hero. And then we got this little box here. What's in the box? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's just there to take up space. But let's have a look at it anyway. It's got this kind of sigil looking thing with what looks like some cables coming out of it, which kind of like a almost like a metaphor for the whole Eternia thing of technology combined with mysticism. So we got some ancient tech on there and some magic type stuff on there, and this design on the sides. So just a box. I suppose you could use it for like a display stand or a piece of the background or something like that. I don't know what the exact purpose of it would be. And here's the actual figure with her accessories. She comes with a bow and an arrow. And we're going to set that aside for another second. Then we got this comic book in here that's packed in an awkward way, so it got kind of bent up when it was in the package. And you can see how it's all crinkled in like that. No cross-cell artwork on the back, which is typical for these that come from the Mattel website. I'm going to try to bend her back into shape because I want to make it easier to read. And then we got on the cover here, Sharella with her bow and arrow and some stuff going on in the background with Hero and the Black Sorcerer, or whatever his name is. I forget what this character's name is. I'm sure they'll say in the comic book. And the title of it is She Warrior. So let's go ahead and read the comic book. And I'm not sure if the pages are sticking together. Just the cover is a little thicker. It's kind of hard to tell because of the way the cover got bent up. But we got Hero and Sharella riding on some turbodactyls. I'm guessing those are turbodactyls. And it says, high above the blue heavens of Preternia, the primordial forests below seem serene enough. Just under the surface lies untold savagery. Through volcanic mists soar two champions astride aerial steeds, Sharella and Hero. And then Sharella says, I must admit, you've grown into quite the warrior. I'm proud of you, Hero. And then Hero says, I've had many great teachers. I count you as one of them. And then Sharella says, we aren't so far apart in years. Think of me not as your teacher, just your superior. Well, okay. Done. Why have you brought me here? It's time I told you a story, one that has haunted and entwined our destinies, as well as the clans. Let me start at the beginning. And then we have a picture here of some humans facing off against some beast men, the same species that the later beast man comes from. In the lands of Preternia, there is one supreme law above others, survival. For generations, barbarian clans have warred across the continents, striving to vanquish each other. The clan prospered. One such tribe was our own clan, Ethos. The clan prospered through conducting trades honorably, we became successful. Using territory once dismissed as worthless, we cultivated it into a verdant paradise. Survival is pointless without principles, says this chieftain guy. We fight for what we fight for goes beyond ourselves. We are in this together. Led by my father, Ober, that's Ober, a strong and powerful warrior, he centered our faction around an attribute never before embraced: morality. Ober knew tragedy too well. His wife, my mother, passed away when I was born. I'm old enough to appreciate that he never held that against me. And then shows her as a young lass running and training. My father taught me how to be strong yet wise, clever yet diplomatic, but above all, he instilled in me optimism, humor, and the value of life itself. The Great Black Wizard, that's what he was called. But lo, success is hard won. Jealousy cares not for merit. Envious eyes were drawn to our village with an army who wished to destroy us, that of the Great Black Wizard. See, there we go. I knew it was something like that. The evil technomancer. See? Science and sorcery, like I was talking about. The evil technomancer felt that morality had no place amongst the barbarian tribes. Philosophy belonged only to the realm of wizardry. If ethics took hold in Preternia, it could threaten his designs, so he destroyed all that we built. Father! If ever lost in life, let virtue act as your compass. I love you. The Dark Lord escaped after murdering my father. I rescued you that night, but never told you the truth. I led you to believe that you were adopted from another tribe, but you were always one of our own. Your parents were also slain by the evil mage. Why didn't you tell me before? You were just a boy. Now you're a warrior, ready to know the truth and the world yourself. There's Hero again. Tell me, Sharella, have you ever thought that the Great Black Wizard might have just been right in his deeds? Perhaps his vision was beyond your moral comprehension? What's so mad about chaos and evil? It's the delusion of good and order that's deranged. Hero, are you insane? Krajak. You speak madness. Evil shreds its disguise, revealing itself. Ha 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 ha! For all your deepest, darkest secrets are mine for the taking. Now, girl, you shall come with me and act as a lure for Hero. If you obey, I'll contemplate sparing your life. Never! Return, warrioress. Let me finish you off like I did your father. And then he's chasing after her, and he's on like an evil-looking, like kind of skeletal bird creature. Avoiding capture, Sharella took to the skies as the necromancer followed in hot pursuit. Finger raised forth, the dark mage casts a powerful bolt of searing energy, which Sharella narrowly avoids. It will take more than that. Eat our tailpipes. Targeted, jerk face. And then she shoots him with an arrow. It hits him in the chest. You see him grabbing at it, and the arrowhead doesn't look like it quite penetrates, but... Enjoy the water. It's refreshing. Vengeance will be mine. The masters of Preternia will be destroyed. Victorious, Sharella rode forth into the brilliant twilight, her new quest to find Hero so that they may unite and vanquish a great evil once and for all. So, yeah, there's that story. So I'm guessing Sharella is kind of like an older sister character to Hero, which you might have expected she might be like a love interest type character, but it looks like she pretty much raised him, so that would be kind of creepy, wouldn't it? So let me see if I can. They've got a rubber tab around this bow, which is really annoying, especially since the bow's actually shoved into these two holes here, one on either side, and I kind of had to bend it up to take it out. And it's got the string molded to it, and unfortunately, the string got kind of bent up. That's just going to happen. That's the nature of the beast with these kind of things. And I do wish that maybe they just left the string off, and I could have just pretended there was a string on there. I think that would have been okay. It's not like it's actually going to work and fire arrows. It's a plastic string. And then speaking of arrows, she does have one golden arrow molded in golden plastic. By the way, I didn't mention before when I was looking at the arrow, there are paint applications on this thing, multiple paint applications, which surprises me. I didn't really pay too much attention to it, I guess, when I ordered it, and I just figured it'd be like a regular Masters Universe Origins accessory where they did it kind of old school and there's no paint apps on it because they didn't do that back in the 80s. But no, there's multiple paint apps on it. There's brown for like the main body of the bow and some gold detailing on it. And you can see where she grips it. It's got this kind of like bone white, off gray kind of color, and the strings the same color. It's very similar to the color that was used on the weapons that came with the original Castle Grayskull. So that's interesting. I'm going to set that aside for now. And then we'll get Sharella herself out of the package. And she does have rubber tabs holding her in. Rubber tabs. Mattel is just rubber tab crazy. I swear to God. Get these trimmed off of here. Is that all of them? So she's got one around each of her shins and one around each of her forearms. And I think that's all of them. Get her out of here. And she's got like more paint detail on her than I'm used to for an Origins figure. And I know this is one that's like, it's sold through the website. So, it kind of makes sense, I guess, that they would get a little fancier about it. But it wasn't what I expected. So she's got a quiver on her belt. You can see there's some arrows molded into that. And unfortunately, one of these fletchings got kind of bent up while it was in the packaging. But this arrow should, it looks like, fit into the quiver like so. So that's nice. Hopefully that means it won't get lost. And this belt, I think, is removable, but you have to take the figure apart in the middle. But it's got the quiver on it, and it's got a big pouch on the other side. I'm going to put her back together like so. This furry vest piece, this seems to be removable as well, but I'm not going to take it off right now. But I think if you pull out her arms, and you can probably stretch it over the torso and take it out, which does give us some customizing potential. And I did buy an extra one of these, so I could use one for customs. So yeah. And they were pretty cheap when I got them on the website at the time. I don't know if they're still on sale or not, but they were having these on sale for like $8. And even then, there was like a code you could enter in to save like an additional 10%. So I got these for like really cheap, which is why I was able to buy two of them. And the third figure that I got from the Mattel website at the time, which will be the last of the Masters of the Universe figures that I open up in this batch. So I've still got the next figure will be the Stranger Things box set, which I forgot that I had. I had that third Stranger Things box set with Hordak and Hellfire Man. So that's going to be the next episode. I'm going to open those up. And then I'm going to get on to Turtles of Grayskull. So, and open up the new Turtles of Grayskull figures that I have. So this head sculpt I really like. I think this head sculpt is really nice. I don't know how well it's coming across on the camera, but I think they did a really good job with this head sculpt of making her look like a little older. She's got a little bit more maturity in her face than an Origins figure usually has, while still looking quite beautiful. She's definitely an attractive woman, but she is a little older looking than than typically a female Masters of the Universe Origins figure looks. Even a character like the Sorceress, who should probably look at least a little bit older than Tila. She's got that kind of cute doll face, and I'm kind of hoping they can maybe pull this off a little bit when they do the whenever I get the Queen Marlena figure. I'm hoping that she'll have that kind of look going on. But she does have some new pieces. I think the forearms are new. I don't remember seeing any bare forearms for any of the ladies in the line previously, but now we have some. The upper arms are definitely Tila's arms. The legs are definitely Tila's legs. I would not be surprised if the torso underneath the furry vest. I would not be surprised if that was the same torso that was used on the cartoon collection, Tila and Evelyn underneath. But I don't have either one of them over here to compare anyway. Since the belt is kind of high, she doesn't have a navel. And you can see that her waist piece is basically like like a female version of the He-Man type waist piece with the same type of belt and everything. It's just smaller and more femininely shaped. It's got that hourglass to it. Now, as is kind of typical with the Origins, she doesn't have a whole lot of junk in her trunk. Like some do and some don't. But she's one that's like a little more old school as far as like not having like a whole lot of detail to the curvature of her posterior. So it's a little more like the 80s figures where like I think we're probably even purposely trying to avoid that so they didn't have like, parents being all aghast or whatever. But since she's got like furry trunks, it doesn't really matter anyway. I'm going to put the belt back on her now. Okay, so we might as well leave it off while I talk about the articulation. Let's talk about the articulation first. So Sharella can't look up very far because the long hair, obviously, but she can look down about that far. Kind of tilt her head quizzically from side to side, rotate the head all the way around. The hair doesn't actually impede the rotation that way, so that's good. Of course, the arms rotate all the way around at the shoulders, but they seem like they're a little stiff on mine. And they can raise up to the side about that far. And by the way, when they do rotate at the shoulder, it is like at a slight angle. Even though the torso doesn't really have that angle sculpted into it, you can see the arms are pretty much where the arms attach is pretty much straight up and down. But the way that the arm is jointed in, let's see if I can get it out. You can see the way the arm is jointed in is still at kind of an angle, so that's kind of awkward. So her arms can raise up to the side about that far. She's got a single joint of articulation at the elbow, which bends a little more than 90 degrees, and it rotates all the way around. And then her wrists rotate all the way around, and it have a horizontal hinge that moves back and forth like so. And then she rotates all the way around at the waist. Charlotte can kick up about that far. She can do the splits no problem. She's got a single joint of articulation at the knees that bends about 90 degrees and rotates all the way around. She's got a boot cut, rotates all the way around. These are the same boots that are on Tila, so we're very familiar with these. Foot can point down about that far, foot can point up about that far, and the foot rotates all the way around. So, typical Masters of the Universe Origins articulation for Sharella. Nothing new to write home about, but nothing new that's, bad. Nothing new, good or bad. So, just par for the course, really. Let's go ahead and put the bow in her hand. And then we'll see what we can do with this arrow. I'm a little disappointed that there's not a clip on this bow so that we can attach the arrow onto it. And I don't know how well I'm going to be able to get her to hold it. You can see, like, since it's an arrow, it's very narrow. I didn't mean to rhyme up boat, and I didn't know it. But it's going to be difficult to get her to hold it in any meaningful way. You can have her hold it by the fletchings like that, but I don't even know if we're going to be able to get her into any kind of like decent archery position. I mean, it's not the easiest thing to get an action figure into an archery pose. It's even more difficult when you can't really attach the bow to the arrow or anything like that. So I'm probably just gonna wind up keeping this arrow in the quiver so it won't get lost. And she's mainly just gonna hold her bow. So there we go. But it's a really nice looking figure. They did a really good job with it. Like I said, I'm pretty impressed that they were able to give her a face that had some maturity to it, but at the same time, still looks quite lovely. You know, she's got the high cheekbones and everything. So yeah, they did a good job with this. I'm pretty happy with how this figure turned out. I was a little late to the game getting this figure, but that's cool because I actually wound up saving a little bit of money since it was on sale. So I might try to get more of these if I can get one for cheap. If they're still on sale next time I check, I might pick some up. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for Sharella. Short and sweet. You know, not a whole lot to say about her really, but it's a good figure. So I would definitely recommend picking her up if you're collecting these Masters of the Universe Origins figures. She'll definitely be a figure that'll fit in really well and very cool, and I like her. So good job with that. Next episode, I'll be back with the Stranger Things 2-pack with Hellfire Man versus Hordak. Hellfire Man is a good guy. So despite his name and his frightening appearance, he's a hero. He's a heroic warrior. So I'm looking forward to opening that up. And if you want to make sure you don't miss that, make sure that you like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about Sharella, both the character in general and this figure specifically. It's the first figure we've ever gotten to her. They didn't even get around to making her in the Origins or the Classics line. So this is the first time we've ever had Sharella. So that's nice. I personally like the simplicity of this figure. She's just some barbarian chick with a bow and arrow, but I might wind up giving her a sword or something anyway. I think she'd look cool with a sword. So, but that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. We will talk to you next time. Bye.